who like to take notes is girl, get up. Girl, get up. Spirit of the living God, we just invite you into every corner of this environment. God, we ask that your spirit would permeate our excuses, that it would tear down our walls, that it would see past our facade, and that it would touch the innermost core of our being. God, we came because we must hear from you. We're trying to tap into our divinity when humanity tells us that we're less than. God, we are divine. We believe that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So God, I'm asking that you would allow for this word to be a reflection of your daughters, that they would hear something in this message that unlocks who you've called them to be, that you would stir up the gifts and allow fresh oil, creativity, and strategy, that they may leave this place and win again and breathe again and have peace again, because that's the kind of God that I serve, and that's what he does when he steps in a room. And so as for me, God, I ask that there would be no nerves, no anxiety, just your spirit, your oil standing tall on the inside of me. In Jesus' name, amen. Get comfortable.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the Reset and Recalibrate Women's Conference. With no further ado, we're going to have some people strolling in here every now and then. We are live streaming this on YouTube, and we have about 50 registered people today, so I'm excited. And as they get in, we're going to have Dawn go ahead and welcome us in. Thank you so much for attending. And Dawn, I think that you're on mute.
Having some technical difficulties. Thank you, Jada. Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Dawn Brooks. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm so excited for today. We have a great lineup for you. Not only do we have a great lineup, our host, Jada Stone, this is her first annual Reset and Recalibrate Women's Conference. March is such a beautiful month. We're celebrating March Madness. We're celebrating beautiful spring. But most importantly, it's International Women's Month. And this conference is for women, by women, okay? It's time that we start to work collectively, ladies, okay? And so this is the space. This is the time. I'm so glad that you're joining us this afternoon. As I stated earlier, we have a great lineup for you. I hope you stick around until after the panel. We're going to have some breakout sessions. We're going to have some surprises for you. We'll go ahead and get into that a little bit later. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the floor over none other than our host, Jada Stone. Welcome, Jada, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning. So I basically wanted to start off by, again, thanking everybody for being here today. This event is a very important event for me because it's an event that marks the start of getting up and just doing what you say you're going to do. And this panel full of amazing women contains so much knowledge that we're going to be able to learn from today and be inspired by. And I'm just so lucky to have all of these women in attendance. It is going to be amazing for sure. I want to start off with just talking a little bit about myself. As Ms. Brooks introduced me, I am Jade Williams, but I also go by Jada Stone. I actually started a modeling agency at the age of 17 years old, where I worked with people like Dillard's and Macy's and things of that nature. And I didn't start the modeling agency because I wanted to. I started the modeling agency because I faced some challenges and I refused to give up. I enrolled at a very popular, I enrolled in a very popular modeling agency. They told me I had what it took. I believed them. I paid my money. And then after training, they said, you know what, we don't really have anywhere for you. So I said, you know what? The devil's a lie. I have somewhere for myself. And so I then started just going around the different companies, asking them, how does this work? How does this work? And they would say, well, ma'am, you need to have a company in order to book with us. And so I said, okay. So I started Jada Stone Agency, booked my first modeling gig. Then others started reaching out to me, and I said, this is a way to help other people. And so I started helping other people through that avenue. Had my first baby, again, another challenge, another adversity that I faced. And within that, I had so many people in the community reaching out to me as we're doing today, joining alliances with other women and saying, no, Jada, you are doing good. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep moving. Let me be your motivation. In fact, let me introduce you to this person. And so from there, I started actually managing music artists. And from there, I started doing production shows, and I've worked with some of the biggest names in the industry. I've had a chance to do Revolt. Actually, this is going to be my 4th year this year with Revolt, and the whole P. Diddy gang and things of that nature. And it's just been amazing, the kind of women that I have encountered over the years that have been able to pour so much knowledge into me. And so that is the reason why I decided that this Reset and Recalibrate conference is a much needed thing, not only for the month of March, but in continuance, because we always just need other people, if it's nothing but just to hear their story and how they overcame things, or to probably pick up on a skill or a certain way they did something that could help me in my business. I'm always open and ready to learn. And so with no further ado, I do want to introduce our first guest speaker today at the Reset and Recalibrate conference, Dr. Winsome. And I hope that you ladies enjoy her today and learn a multitude of things. Good afternoon, Dr. Winsome.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Jada Stone, for this invite. And I'm just so excited to be on the panel with all these wonderful, beautiful queens. Okay, so my name is Dr. Winsome Brooks. I bring you greetings from Houston, Texas. And just a little bit about me, I'll just go into like my academic background and just how I got started into my career, and just some of the challenges that I faced and how I accomplished them. But I attended Sam Houston State University in Texas Southern and got my degree in communication. And I know I have some TSU alumni on here. Yes, Paige. Okay, Jada, and I think Don. So I went there, Sam Communication, TSU Communication as well. And then I got my doctorate degree at Abilene Christian University in higher education, organizational leadership. Throughout my collegiate journey, I worked as a communication specialist, worked in the communication realm. I even had the opportunity to work for wonderful companies like, institutions like Texas A&M as a professor, and worked as a communication manager at NASA Johnson Space Center. So that was exciting as well. And then I worked as a communication liaison for Black Smoke Music Worldwide, where I was able to get into the entertainment background dealing with James Fortune, Ernest View. So everybody that was in the gospel realm in Houston at that time. And so that kind of piqued my interest. And then I was dipped into my partner. I was dipped into this whole business realm that really catapulted me to want to pursue communication and marketing. So one of the questions that Jada Stone gave us was, what's a challenge that we faced in my field would be communication and marketing, and how we overcome it. First of all, the challenge was, as far as the communication and marketing field, was actually generating leads. So just think about it. You have this grand idea and you want to take it to the next level. You want to generate revenue. You want to generate income, but you really just don't know where to start, what to do. You don't have money to do it. Things like that. No money, no consumers. And if you don't have any money and you don't have any consumers, then how can you get where you want to get? So that was my challenge going into that field, trying to take this brand and move the needle and move it to the next level, and then get people to respect me in my career. And so one of the things that I had to do, I had this background when it came to education, but not so much experience. So I had to do a lot of research. And with that research also came delegation. So some of the things, if I felt like it was in my capacity to do, then I took care of it. But if not, then I had no problem outsourcing it to other people that were experts in that field. And so in order to like move me to the next level, and I'll give it to you in 4 steps. The first step was I had to brand and kind of align everything. So from what I did on social media to what you see on the website to what you see in face-to-face, I had to brand and align every single thing. Because I felt like, you know, if people don't see your presence online, if they don't see your presence, you're showing credibility through your website and people that you work with, then they won't take you seriously or consider doing business with you. So I had to brand and align everything, and that would help me kind of get me started to overcome the challenges that we're facing as far as generating those particular leads. The next thing that I had to do is I had to do a lot of stuff, and I guess, you know, in layman's terms, we would say for free. You know, sampling products, capturing those testimonies, donating, volunteering, working with those people that you can really gain that knowledge from. So I had to do a lot of stuff for free, only just to build up my portfolio and just kind of gain some more traction. So with that alignment, with that branding, and then doing all these things and getting my name out there, getting the business name out there and aligning and capturing those testimonies, then that helped me gain even more traction with who I am, the services that I provide, and the company that I was working with. The next thing I did was build relationships and network. And this is when I seen the drastic growth, like just build with who I am, what I do in my company. So true story, one day I went to a comedy show, and it was in a little comedy spot in Houston, like off Gulfway Freeway. And it was Chico Bean and Carlos Miller doing their comedy show. And I was like, oh my God, they're my favorite comedians. I know everybody doesn't watch Wild 'N Out, but I was like, I am crazy over Wild 'N Out. I'm going to go check them out. So, and along with that, I had already had my 1-minute pitch. If I ever walked up to somebody, I would have this 1-minute sales pitch ready. So I went to the comedy show. It was like maybe about 100 people, not even that much at the comedy show. And when I went to the comedy show, you know, I'm very observant. I pinpointed a guy and I was just like, oh my God, he must be the one pulling all the triggers. So I walked up to him, told him about who I am, the services that I offered, and the services that the company offered. And then after that, he was like, really? He was like, if that's the case, go ahead and pull up the next night and I'll introduce you to Carlos and Chico. I said, okay, cool. So I came back the next night. We had a conversation, introduced myself, brought in the product, the business that I was working with. And then the next thing you know, they fell in love with the product, what I was bringing to the table, who I am, the services that I offer as far as marketing and communication. And then I kid you not, after that, that's when everything just kind of catapulted. Through him, I met them. Through them, like they came back in town for the next event. They connected us with Nick Cannon. Then after Nick Cannon, then I got connected with 50 Cent. And it just jump. And that's how the network began to build. And that's how the company began to grow. And that's how I was able to see a lot of things. So with that, I was able to then take it to the next level and cross market and do a lot of B2B sales with other businesses. And with that cross market, it led us into media, television. So I've gotten over like $100,000 worth of media coverage. Been on a lot of different channels. I'm hoping one day to work with Paige, a wonderful journalist, but CW9, Great Day Houston, KPRC, Food Network, BNC Go, Black News Channel, Houston Chronicle, and more. So we was able to get a lot of media coverage just by the research, the delegation, writing these press releases, getting all that information out. And that's really what led us. Now, one thing I'm very proud of is that once that settled and I really settled in who I was and the services that I offered, especially what I was doing with the company, then I started to kind of tap into this grant writing realm. And with that, I was able to take the company and the reputation and what it's known to do out there and just my skills and tap into this grant writing realm. With that, over the last 3 years, I brought in over 6 figures in grants. And so some of them, just to name a few, 25,000 with Discover in 2020, T-Mobile, My Black Biz, we won there. Rap Snacks Mogul, with that, was able to meet Rick Ross. The First Horizon, that was 25,000. And recently, Lenovo grant with Queen Latifah, that was $40,000. So I was able to just take all of these things and tap into that realm and actually compete in competitive grants and bring money in for whatever particular company it is. What I did really, I took my skills. One thing about it, when you're in your line of field, you cannot stop learning. You have to pinpoint and use other people. You know, like when you're in the workforce, they call it professional development. Yes, you are a lifetime learner. So that's what I did. Even though I had these degrees, I did not let that control, like, oh, I'm better than everybody and I can do this and I don't need any help. No, I networked with the people that had experience like we are doing today. And that really led me to meet these wonderful people that actually kind of directed me down the path that I needed to go. So that's just a little bit about me and the challenges that I've faced. Like, I'm very excited for what I'm going to accomplish in the future, just tapping out and being able to help individuals. And I hope you guys just enjoyed my little conversation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Winsome. And at this time, we'll take some questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand for Dr. Winsome, and I could take you off of mute and we can ask her any kind of questions that you have regarding your business or a challenge you might have that, according to her expertise, she could lend some advice to. Okay, doesn't look like anybody has their hand raised, but I had a question in particular. You talked about working for free, and that's a big thing for me in particular, working for free. I know I've been doing this for a long time as far as events and media and entertainment, and I still happen to, still do things for free. When do you think it's a good time to stop, and how do you transition into charging people for your services that you've gained rightfully?
So I am definitely a results-driven individual, and I just picked that up just writing, doing my dissertations. So if you're looking at statistics and running the business, you can tell if your company is gaining traction or not out there based on media coverage, based on the articles and things like that. Once you build this reputation, people can actually Google you and find all of these accolades, then that, in my opinion, has catapulted you into the next level of you can start to charge. Because at first I was kind of timid, like, oh, maybe it should be cheap, my prices and everything like that. But then once I start to see results produce and take the company to the next level, and then I started to get recognition, I was like, no, I see results, we're going to have to start paying, because I know once I can guarantee you, once I do this for you, you're going to see revenue, you're going to see some changes, you're going to see some increase. And so I just look at the reputation, the traction of your company, the revenue. The revenue is going to be a big pinpoint. Like, you might start out making $3,000 this year, but then the next year you're at 30, and then the next year at 136,000. That's a big indicator, like, okay, you need to start charging for your services, and you can even increase the prices as well. But then I will add this, like, once you get to a certain spot and you don't want to, like, you feel like you're stagnant, then sometimes you have to circle the block again and do something free, but for these larger companies or these larger corporations, so you can take yourself to the next level.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And if you were too shy to ask your question now, don't worry. By the end of the event, you'll have another opportunity to get one-on-one time with Dr. Winsome and gain some additional information. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Paige Hubbard, who I'm so excited about. I've been running this lady down for years. So I'm happy she was available today to pour in some knowledge to me and you guys. So let me be quiet.
Yes, well, I first want to say thank you for organizing this. I think anytime when you can come together with like-minded individuals to, encourage yourself and learn and do better and grow, it's always a great thing. So to everybody who woke up on a Saturday to be here to better themselves, shouts out to y'all. As Jade said, I am Paige Hubbard. I am a journalist and emerging entrepreneur. I am from Houston, Texas, but I am currently living in Austin because I work for a local station out here. I am in the news and journalism background. And just as Dr. Winsome, I went to the illustrious Texas Southern University where I got my degree in broadcast journalism. As far as challenges along my journey, Lord knows I could probably sit here and write a whole book, but I face challenges literally in every single aspect trying to achieve the things that I desired, from, doubts within myself, doubts within my family, doubts with just not knowing what it would take to break into the industry. So for me, I never woke up and said that I wanted to be a journalist. I actually had other career aspirations. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a hairstylist. And I went to Lamar High School, which actually has a journalism department. As crazy as it is, in high school, I was never involved in it, but the news broadcasts used to circulate during homeroom. And I would just remember sitting in a classroom watching them and being like, I could do that. And so as far as how I got started, I had people and opportunities into my life, and it showed me that this is what I wanted to do. And there was no plan B for me. Once I figured out I wanted to be a journalist, I was shooting for the stars. It was no backup plan. And being that I really wasn't taking care of business in high school, I was kind of bad and not focused on my studies. I had to do my first 2 years at a community college. And I remember God speaking to me about, the communications industry. It still wasn't concrete exactly what realm I was going to enter into. But as I said, as my journey went on, he introduced professors and certain experiences. And once I got to TSU, that's when things really changed for me. Professor Sabino Sandifer Walker is a huge reason as to why I'm here today, because she really pushed me and cultivated me. But kind of long story short, throughout my collegiate career, I was very involved. I interned my butt off. I interned literally at every single station in Houston, except for ABC 13. I worked for the school's newspaper. I was in radio, going back to the working for free. I really encourage those, if you can afford to do so financially, I would say don't get so caught up on the fact that, this opportunity doesn't have a dollar amount attached to it, because those free gigs that I took was able to catapult me into paid positions. For prime example, the amazing Kim Gagne, who is a wonderful producer, who was a big part of Great Day Houston, and she got the Steve Harvey Show syndicated to what it is today. She was managing a radio station at St. John's Church downtown, and I was the social media coordinator there. And I was working for free, getting up on the weekends, going to help out, and she was able to see my work and my hunger. And when she was presented an opportunity, somebody came to her and said, "Hey, I'm looking for some interns." My name immediately came up, and I was able to get an internship at KPRC Channel 2, and it was paid. So again, I just say that don't always get so caught on this isn't, paying me money. But beyond that, I interned at KPRC. I interned at Fox 26. I was interning up until 2 weeks before I graduated. And in my mind, I was just like, I know they're going to hire me. They kept extending my internship. I started off upstairs with the lifestyle department, but I really like hard news, investigative journalism. So I worked my way downstairs. Canberra Marshall, he invited me to come hang out with the news team there. And one of the mistakes I made was that I did not actively look for work because I just thought I had it, I had it made. Like I thought they were going to give me a job. So my internship is over, I'm graduating and I don't have a job. And it was a very hard transition for me graduating from college and going to, post-graduation, because again, I was so active. I was a star student, honor roll list, dean's list, all of that. And so if I can encourage you, like, don't ever feel like you got something in the bag, even if you do feel like you have a good rapport with these individuals, always make sure that you're, marketing yourself and creating more opportunities for yourself. But long story short, I keep saying it's a long story, but I had a best friend at the time. My best friend now to this day, Portia, she saw that I was kind of in a rut, like I wasn't really living in my full potential. And she was like, girl, give me your resume. I'm going to send you over to a friend who I know that's in HR. The job that she was helping me with, it wasn't in my field at all. It was a legal assistant job, but I needed money. It was like, at this point, it was like 3-4 months after I had graduated and I had no type of, feedback from any career, any job industry that I wanted to be in. So I'm working at this law firm, assistant, being an assistant, and I'm making good money. I buy myself a new car and the company undergoes layoffs. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to take care of my bills? I feel like I just crawled out of this hole of being in a funk after not, getting a job after graduation. I get a job and here's another downfall. And so on my lunch breaks, I would go across the street to this restaurant and eat. McCormick and Schmick's, and I knew that they were needing a hostess. And so I had to swallow my pride. As amazing and fabulous as I thought I was with a college degree, I went to go be a hostess because I had bills to pay. And I remember one day, like, I left work and everything was fine, but I just was crying in my car because I'm just like, God, you put this dream in my heart and I'm thankful for this job, but I know you have greater things destined for me. Like, what do I need to do? Am I in my own way? What needs to change? And I kid you not, 2 days later, I got a missed call from a woman who worked at a starter station called NTV Houston. And this is kind of really where it all began. When I was in college, I had a colleague who I was interning with named Rocio De La Fe. And the people from the TV station called her to offer her a job. But she was like, I'm not ready yet, and I know somebody who is. And so she recommended my name. I came in, I did the interview. It was a very different and unique experience because it wasn't a ABC, NBC, some of the big network companies that we hear. It was a South Asian station. I was the only Black woman there, and they saw something in me and they gave me a chance. And it was so crazy, just a little background about this industry and news. You don't graduate from college and work in a top 10 market, but news is based off of market size. So right now I'm in Austin, that's market 38. I came from Beaumont, that was market 145. Houston is market number 7. So for me to be fresh out of college, working in a top 7 market, that was huge. I was grabbing scripts and running prompter for reporters. And here I am standing on the sidelines with them covering the same, stories. And it got to a point where I felt like I had reached my potential there and it wasn't any more room for growth. And I left my full-time on-air job to take a behind-the-scenes temporary job. And it was challenges with that because I was missing being out in the field. But again, God stepped in and he lined up an opportunity for me to go to Beaumont. And just to touch on the challenges, you know, I'm a Houston girl, I'm a family girl. Even though Beaumont is only an hour away from Houston, that was such a huge challenge for me to leave my family and pick up and move to a new city. So I would also encourage everybody on this call, you know, if you're scared of taking that leap, leaving Houston was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm thankful to say, like, I'm 28 years old and I've lived in 3 different cities. But as far as, you know, more challenges, even when I got in my industry, there's challenges. You know, you have hardships trying to get there. And then once you step into the room, it's a whole nother arena of things that you have to deal with. And so some of those issues were, you know, not allowing people to feel like they can handle you or talk to you any kind of way because you may be younger or less experienced. I had to overcome doubts within people in my own family telling me like, oh, you think you're going to be on the news? You think you're going to be able to do this and that? And, you know, I'm doing it. So there were many challenges that I had to go through. Even still to this day, it's a struggle, you know, sometimes for me being so far away from my family, but every good and bad has created this amazing recipe for me to have the success I have today. So I would just encourage y'all to trust the journey. Don't be so hard on yourself. Try to take advantage of any and every opportunity. Like I said, I did radio, I did TV, I did print, I did everything so I could know what it is I exactly want to do. And also just have fun with the journey. Yes, it's, you know, it's stressful sometimes, and you may not know how you're going to come out on the other end of it. But all of these women here on the call can tell you, like, trust the process, trust the journey, and the good and the bad will all be worth it.
Thank you so much for that amazing speech. You said a lot of key things there. And one of the big things that I want to highlight that you said was about family. And I do see your hand done. I'm going to come to you soon. But could you explain how you overcame the idea that, okay, I've been trying to get my family involved in what I'm doing. I've been asking them to share my videos. I've been asking them to help me out. They're not doing it. How did you come to the realization that, okay, this is not where I need to be in, you know, how to remain that same relationship, a good relationship with your family, but understand that, you know, that's not where it is?
I think honestly, like, some of my success, this may sound bad. And this is not for all of my family members, because if you follow me on Instagram, you see I'm very close with my mother and my sisters. But I think I came to a point where I was just like, this is what God put in my heart. It's not for y'all to understand. And I think they recognized, okay, Paige is going full throttle with this. She's not going to let anybody stop her. Let me get out of her way and be on the sidelines and cheer her along. And it was difficult because, you know, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I was very excited. So when I was meeting, you know, the Isaiah Careys and the Jonathan Martins, when I was just establishing relationships with those people, and I would bring it back and be like, oh, you know, I met so-and-so today and da-da-da-da. They was taking it as, oh, you're name dropping, you're being pretentious. And I'm just like, no, this is, I can't help the fact that this is my field and my industry, and I come into, you know, people of certain calibers. Another thing that I want to touch on, being that I am a journalist and a public figure, I had to totally rebrand myself. Like, my profile picture was me with a low cut shirt on, my cleavage was out, the girls was sitting up, honey, I had a drink in my hand, and my name on Instagram was Can't Stop P Smalls. And again, I had to get out of my own way and say, how am I portraying myself to the world? If I want people to take me seriously as a journalist, that's the type of energy that I have to put out there. So also be mindful of how you're marketing yourself. I did a total 180 and cleaned up everything on my Instagram. And that's how the Paige Hubbard brand was birthed. But going back to my family, I just had a mindset, nobody is going to get in my way. When God put something in my heart, baby, I'm unstoppable. So
thank you so much. That's too key. You said a lot of gems, but that is key. What you said about rebranding yourself and how you look. You can't want to be something or do something if you're not you got to look the look and walk the walk and talk the talk. Dawn, did you have a question follow up?
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to just piggyback off of what Paige said about interning. You know, for some of you younger ladies that are in school, I highly encourage you to take the internship opportunity. When I was in undergrad, I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to skip the professionalism and go straight to be an entrepreneur. But you got to crawl before you walk. And crawling is getting the experience in the field that you're wanting to pursue. Okay. So when you want to pursue something, you have to go get those interns that's not paying. You got to go put yourself in those rooms that you don't want to be in to get your name exposed, to get your brand exposed and your face. Another thing, to Jade, I have an experience where I was working with a family member in a business venture, and my family, one of us were trying to get to one, and we both couldn't get to one. We had to be one together, not number one. Okay. And this was a close family member of mine. And I came to the realization that, you know what? I'd rather you be my family member than a business partner, because we're gonna break each other apart in our family, right? So, you know, for people who do business with their family or who take advice from their family members, I want to encourage you to continue, like as Paige said, to continue on the journey with your passion. Because a lot of times your family is gonna remember, oh, little Don or little Bo Peep or whatever you were as a kid, but they're not gonna see you change into this woman or this man that you have blossomed into. And it's really hard for somebody to take back what they know you from to know where you're going as a person. Okay. So a lot of times people are stuck in their way about, oh, you can't grow. See, you know, I'm not a person that's going to be stuck in my ways. I believe in growing and going, right? So with that being said, I just want to encourage everyone, you know, just stick to the guns. Get as much experience as you can if you're in college and as a professional, because when name dropping, you're not name dropping, baby. This is my resume. What you mean? This is my resume. I have this experience to say that I'm a professional working with these professionals in my field. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the floor back over to Jade to introduce our next speaker. I'm excited. This panel is amazing. I want to again thank you, ladies, and thank the audience for attending this great conference. So Jade.
Thank you so much. And I actually have one more question for Paige before we introduce the amazing Bobby Penn. Most of these women on the call today say they don't have a business or something of that nature, or they're not going after something in the public figure realm of things. Say I'm working a 9 to 5 and I just want to progress in life. I want to do more within my job. Do you have any tips or any kind of processes that you do, like vision boards or anything of that sort, that could help them or aid them in getting to that next level in their career?
Well, first, I would just say be intentional about what it is that you want to achieve. You know, not everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Not everybody wants to be behind the camera. Whatever it is you want to do, know what that is, and then create a plan that's going to help you get there. For me, I've mentioned God on this call since I started talking. I'm a woman of God. I consult with God before I do anything. I want to make sure that I am walking in the path that He has ordained for me. So for the women on this call, you know, make sure that you're checking in with your, you know, spiritual God, whether that be God or whomever it is. I also believe in manifestation. I write things down, and it's so crazy because I was just looking at some of my past journals, and literally everything that I have written down to like the smallest detail, to the color of the car that I want, you know, God has blessed me with. So yeah, be intentional. Don't do anything that will jeopardize what you're trying to accomplish. Have a plan and be consistent and dedicated. You can't cheat the game. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get back in return. So just always remember that.
Thank you so much. Those are amazing gems. And so with no further ado, I would like to introduce the amazing Lauren Williams, AKA Bobby Penn. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Jade. And it's nice to meet all of you ladies on the panel and everyone who is tuned in either live or watching this replay. Halloween 1999, y'all, I hit a lick, okay? I turned my Halloween candy that I got from Hallelujah Night and the candy that my mom brought to give to trick-or-treaters into $200 when I brought it to school with me the next day. My backpack was stuffed. I mean, all of my classmates were already on a sugar high and needed a fix, so I became their supplier. I priced my candy at 50 cents a pop and posted up in my locker waiting for hyped up preteens to get this off my hands. See, I've never really been a sweets girl. I'm more of a savory lover, and chips are my addiction. It's bad. My mother had also recently been diagnosed with diabetes, so I didn't want to tempt her. Little did I know that taking my leftover candy to school and selling it to my peers was in fact my first step into entrepreneurship. I'm professionally known as Bobby Penn, but my mama named me Lauren. I'm a writer, host, and producer with well over 10 years of experience in digital, print, and broadcast media. While I went into journalism intentionally, entrepreneurship chose me. The best way to come up with a business model is to first identify a problem. In this instance, kids can simply never get enough candy. Then you want to solve that problem. Me, bringing an excessive amount of candy to school and then having them tell their friends to come meet me too, helped everyone get what they wanted. Fast forward some 20 years later, and I'm a successful mediapreneur who has contributed to wins, achievements, and viral mass-reaching content for major brands like Curls Hair Care, Minimo Skin Essentials, Rose and Bloom Bubbly Moscato, Warner Home Movies, General Motors, and even Polaris, the company that makes those three-wheel streetcars you've probably seen, the Slingshot. Man, I've been flown all around the country on brand trips. I've worked directly with record labels like Columbia and Warner Records, and I've been employed by media companies like Radio One, Essence, TMZ, The Griot, and most recently, Fox News Corporation. I've helped small businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic go from overlooked to booked on morning news broadcasts, leading blogs, and major magazines, helping them scale from local startups to national necessities. I've built websites, created logos, and crafted incredible brand stories until they earned me well over 6 figures before I even turned 35. And that birthday is in April, by the way. All of this from starting a blog in my childhood bedroom after graduating from Temple University with no job, despite my internships, teacher recommendations, and the degree. What I'm saying is, betting on myself was the key to unlocking potential I never really knew I had. When I graduated, all I wanted to do was write for Cosmo or XXL, sit in my cube, and go home. But rejection forced me to prove not only to the industry or my peers, but to myself that I could do it. So I launched thebobbypenn.com in 2010, writing about new music releases, cool places to eat around my hometown, Washington, D.C., cultural events at the Howard Theater, and how I styled my hair that week. I posted regularly on what I saw happening on Twitter each day, initially 1 post per day until it became 5. Writing 500 to 1,000 word articles, sourcing and linking to MP3 downloads, capturing my own photos, editing video content, and coding HTML to build my website are the skills I used to launch my brand and put me in front of the right people. After a few months of networking, in other words, stalking the local publicists in my area that had it going on and going out to cover their client events, I soon became sought after. I would build link backs by having the Howard Theater include my blog posts on their press landing page and having those same publicists whom I supported include my links in their event recaps that were distributed to larger brands and their corporate contacts. My content started to be sourced by publications like the Washington Post, The Source, The Shade Room, and other brands I looked up to. It kind of became like that Drake line, when your idols become rivals. Every new attribution was confirmation that I was doing the right thing. At the same time, however, I decided to go back to school to earn my master's degree from American University while working temp jobs and internships. I needed to boost my income, so I'd work 2 jobs and study for the GRE or write a paper and then do it all over again. During this period, I remained a student while simultaneously implementing the skills that I was picking up on each of these various jobs. These skills were more on the leadership side this time. How do I build and inspire a team? How to assign tasks? Learning the different departments it takes to run a profitable media company. How to market events, content, and develop an audience online. And of course, how to plan and manage a live event. I began to get a bit overwhelmed with my blog, so the production for thebobbypin.com slowed down until I felt frustrated and took a break altogether. For 2 years, I didn't touch my website. That's until peers and colleagues noticed my absence and encouraged me to get back in the saddle. This time, more wise and experienced, I turned that passion project into a full-blown business. I created a Google AdSense account in order to serve display ads on my website. I worked with affiliates to write advertorials where I got paid a commission every time somebody made a purchase using my links. I relaunched the brand in 2012 with an in-person event, thebobbypin.com presents Revealed. Not only was I showcasing the work I'd already completed by that time, covering red carpets at President Obama's inauguration, BET Awards, South by Southwest, and the Grammys, but I also presented my toolbox of digital media skills as services. On the screens throughout the Northwest DC nightclub, I showed pictures of me with A-list celebrities, attending notable events around the country, and the sponsors' logos that contributed to this event for 4 hours straight. The event, Revealed, brought my mission to spotlight Black people's contributions to music, art, and culture from the computer screen to real life. I had live musical acts, a fashion show. The event MC was an on-air personality from the local radio station, 93.9 WKYS, and I even had a specialty cocktail sponsored by Courvoisier. I partnered with a local nonprofit, Metro Teen Aid, to make a donation to a worthy cause. See, this community tie was strategic. It helped me earn publicity for this event as their team also pushed the event, of course, to help them raise even more money too. This presentation to my community helped like-minded subscribers and supporters network with each other, enjoy the culture, and spread the word about what I was doing. Over 100 people poured into my first event ever. I really couldn't believe it. I was so overwhelmed with gratitude and inspired more than ever to really go hard or go home. I keep at it, reincarnating the event annually to become a highly anticipated artist showcase. I'd also cover more red carpets, interview bigger names, and help even more brands and promote as much emerging talent as I could until I was scooped up by Radio 1 for my first full-time media position. I was relocated to Dallas, a city I'd never visited before, but my reputation preceded me. I was able to leverage both that title and the relationships I'd already built up until then to keep going and benefit my new family. I remember in my first week, I contributed to an episode of TMZ from my office with our station paraphernalia all in the background. Everybody was so excited about that. In this capacity, I also continued to study. I would hang out in the studios with the on-air talent, watching them work the board, edit listener calls, and log giveaways. I would work with the sales department to develop digital incentives to accompany their on-air advertising sale pitches. I rode in the station trucks with the promotion team to capture social media content with the community and also get my face out there in my new town too. I'd go on to move markets and translate roles from digital to programming until I made the leap to go into entrepreneurship full-time during the COVID-19 pandemic. Full circle, I found myself wearing all the hats and taking the lead on projects for my clients. Today, regardless of what titles I hold at someone else's company, I will always hustle and secure the bag for myself, and I encourage you to do the same. Never give up on your identity for any job or corporation. Oops, something just popped up. With just a little bit of initiative, tenacity, and a strong support system, you can do anything you set your mind to. Even earn 6 figures, and I'm coming for 7, and build the resume of your dreams. What will be your media What will be your mediapreneur origin story? I'm happy to help you write it. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Bobby Penn. That is amazing. I mean, I'm hearing and one thing in particular that I'm hearing across everybody's story is that we all stopped somewhere. And there was someone in that storyline that said, no, God put that person in everybody's life that said, no, not you. You're gonna keep on going. You're gonna reach your full potential. Could you tell me, even if the person was, allowing you to see your potential and get you back and moving in the right direction, how much of that was also you? How do you take that energy and turn it into what you wanted it to turn it into?
Yeah, I mean, it has to start with self-belief. It's amazing and incredible to have people inspire you and encourage you and push you. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe it, then you're only going to go but so far. Now, with that said, though, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be nervous. That doesn't mean that you might not experience a little bit of imposter syndrome or other things that are going to hold you back. But it has to be something within you that is going to push you through those moments where you are nervous, where you don't think you can do it, where maybe there's people around you intimidating you, like the previous young lady mentioned. Sometimes it's going to be spaces, especially in an environment where it's competitive and everybody's trying to live out their dreams and a certain personality type. There are going to be things that are going to discourage you, but you have to keep going. So yeah, I would definitely say the God in me, I can't take all the credit for it. The God in me, I'm grateful for that foundation of spirituality and the people around me as I was growing up who would always continue to pour in me so that when I did get older and I had those rough moments, I could go back deep and pull on those resources.
That's amazing. Also, I wanted to ask you about how if I'm working a 9 to 5 and I'm barely meeting ends, how am I going to find the money to live my dreams or the time? How am I going to do that without just quitting my job and just being broke and hungry?
I would say prioritization is going to play a key here. Not saying that it's easy, but if you want something, you're going to find a way. You're going to find a way. So that could be maybe not getting as much sleep as you want for a period of time. It could be sacrificing getting your hair and nails done for a period of time. It could be letting your ego down and asking for help, finding investors, coming up with an actual business plan and structure so that when you present it to potential investors, they feel confident sharing and pouring into you. And then in today's age, you could be bold enough to just reach out to companies and brands and ask for partnerships and do content marketing and things of that nature. So it's definitely plenty of ways to be creative, but it has to be in you to want to be uncomfortable and make the adjustments necessary to give it a try. And then resources, right? Like asking for help, building a team, outsourcing. Where there's a will, there's always a way.
And I'm pretty sure somebody else has a question, but I'm going to ask one more question here. When building a brand, I know that it sometimes can be your baby. How do I trust other people with my baby?
I still struggle with that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But as best you can, try to vet people up front. So asking the right questions, paying attention to the work that they've already done for themselves or other people. You being clear and intentional about what you need and how you need it. So I'm very big on writing down my systems so that when I do bring on board a virtual assistant or intern or things of that nature, we're not starting from scratch, right? I have the methods already documented and I just need you to follow directions. So I think that's a really good tip, and it still allows you to have a level of control without micromanaging or trying to do everything yourself.
And I have a question for everybody on this panel here shortly, but I'm going to start with Miss Bobby Penn since she's on the camera right now. What is something that you wish someone would have told you before you started doing what you were doing?
That was a really good question. I mean, I know people say nothing comes easy or nothing ventured, nothing gained, but I didn't realize how many times that I would have to be comfortable starting over and reinventing and, you know, flipping concepts on its head. So yeah, just like how many tries, like you have to keep trying. Even when you reach a certain level, you can't stay there. You got to keep going. So that would be something that I would let people know. Like never get comfortable, never rest on your laurels, and be comfortable pivoting and being creative and seeing how you can take what you're already good at and use it in another lane or another direction.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna jump to Dawn. Dawn, what's something that what's a piece of knowledge that you have right now for us that you wish somebody would have told you when you started building your businesses and brands?
Don't give up. Be consistent. And the question that you asked earlier about all of us having a time where we actually stopped is a very pivotal moment in our lives when we realize that, you know, I'm scared to go to 10. I'm scared to go to 10 because I made it to 8. I made it to 7. But I'm really scared to go to 10 because I know I'm a beast. You know what you have inside of you based off of the connections you made, because your net worth is your net worth. And when you realize your resume is qualified, when you're qualified as an individual, it you get scared. And I know you get scared, because if you don't get scared, why we stop? Why aren't we consistent? Because the potential that we have to make it to 10 is greater than us. So I would say, whatever it is that you have a dream about, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, keep going. I don't care if it's baby steps, dropping content. I don't care if it's baby steps to get in those doors. As long as you never quit, you will always make it to the other side to see what that grass really looks like.
Thank you so much, Dawn. I just love Dawn. It's a burst of energy for me all the time. Dr. Winsome, could you let us know something that, you know, could be very valuable to us today that you wish that somebody would have told you when you got started?
Yes, and I know this may sound like cliche, but it's really just about believing in yourself. Like when I was in middle school, I got made fun of all the time. And even when my mom worked at the school, I still got made fun of. And so I did struggle with a lot of confidence in myself and having low self-esteem. But all that time I had talent. I had the ability to accomplish certain things. And I didn't know it. I was just a sitting duck with all of this talent in me, and I didn't know. And so finally, when I worked on myself and I got into adulthood and my confidence actually grew, then I really started to believe in my talents and really exert them to take me to the next level. And then the other the other thing I wish somebody would have told me was there's always a blueprint. Wherever we're trying to get to, like with Bobby Penn, with Paige, whatever market we were working in, somebody has already paved the way before us. And we just have to look at what they're doing, but do it 10 times better. So I just wish that, you know, earlier that I was told, like, you know, just believe in yourself, look at the blueprint, and you'll be, you know, on your way. I wish somebody would have just stopped me and shook me and told me those things.
Thank you so much. And Paige, what's something that you could give us, drop some gems on us?
Yeah, for me, I think it would be like being encouraged to be okay with the uncomfortable parts with the journey, being okay with making sacrifices. You know, I mentioned how I started off working in Houston and I was making really good money, but I wasn't fulfilled internally because I made that transition from being on air, which is my dream, to sitting on an assignments desk. And when I got an opportunity to go to Beaumont, I had to take a pay cut. And I was making $15 an hour. And I would have to get off air and go drive Uber or Lyft just to make sure I had enough money to pay my bills. And that was very uncomfortable for me. And I think one of the other ladies mentioned it on the call, is sometimes you got to lay your ego down Don't get so caught up in who you think you are and what you think you should be doing, and you neglect what needs to be done to really get you to be there. So embrace the sacrifice, do what's needed. And sometimes you may have to bend or stretch a little bit to achieve that goal, but just know it's all going to be worth it.
Thank you, Dawn, and I did see your hand.
So Jade, I wanted to ask you a question. What is something that you would tell your younger self, looking back at yourself today?
So for me, I would say that I'm not perfect. Growing up, I always tried to be perfect. I always wanted to, which I did, go to school, be the first person in my family to graduate from college. I saw some things going on in my family, different members of my family being on drugs, different things that, people went through, abuse, things of that nature. And I said, you know what, I'm going to be different. But along the way, I realized how much of the same I was. And I just had to realize that those are the things that made me who I am. Those challenges that I faced and those things that I considered as bad actually helped me understand life. A lot of people don't know this, but I'll put it out there. I was a dancer. I danced my way through college. A lot of people frowned upon that, and when I started it, I frowned upon it too. I found myself in a difficult situation. I knew I was smart. My teachers had told me that my whole life. They said, Jay, you're smart. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be whatever. And so I found myself sitting in the strip club saying, this not the courtroom. So I don't know what's going on. But when I was done with everything and I looked back at things, I saw that, hey, me doing this actually gave me the gift of gab. It gave me communication skills. I was able to go out and meet celebrities and obtain them as clients because I wasn't scared to talk to them. I wasn't scared to put myself out there. I mean, I was half naked, talking to men for most of my growing up experience. So those experiences made me who I was. Another thing that happened to me was I've had children, and that could be looked at as a setback. Sometimes you say, oh my God, I'm having children. I got to focus on them now. I'm not going to have no time for myself. And that was also a lot. I learned that through my children, I see so many opportunities, and even having them there with me motivates me, and even and they motivate me verbally. They say, hey mama, you looking good today, or I heard your song, or I saw you on this show, or and just having them around just showed me that, oh, this is not a setback. This is actually something that helps me, and being my best version every day actually helps them as well. So yeah, that's the sum of it. Just knowing that anything that was meant to destroy me was actually not meant to destroy me. It was actually to help me.
I love it. One thing I can appreciate about this panel. Every woman that has spoken has given us resilience in their journey. How they never get. And I just give y'all a round for what you do in our industry, and I appreciate you, Jay, letting us have this. See, a lot of times, success, we have to reflect on being vulnerable. And when you have those spaces, excuse me, I hear I can't hear. But being vulnerable in spaces where it's quiet is a time where you grow and you stretch yourself from one place to another. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry when you made that milestone. And it's okay to cry when you don't make that milestone. You know, a winner is only a loser who understood the game of learning how to win. That's what a winner is. A lot of times people think that a winner is a leader at the beginning. How you learn how to lead is you learn how to follow first, and then you learn how to lead. And that's how you get those big landing opportunities. Okay. So you have to play two positions until you get to number one. And with that being said, Jade, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the floor back over to you.
We did such an exceptional job today. This event was supposed to be from 1 to 2 as far as us speaking, but I do feel like we have compacted everything into this hour, and it's amazing. So I am going to challenge one of our attendees to come off of mute and just we want to hear what you have going on. So not everybody all at once, but could I get somebody to raise their hand? Thank you, Zenobia. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take you off mute. Can tell us what, sky's the limit. Talk to us.
Well, hello, I am Zenobia Seegers. My business is Holistically Healed. The way that I started my business was because I started having so many health issues. It was unbelievable. Some things I would question myself and say, am I making this up in my head or am I really sick? And I went through an awakening period that shifted my consciousness. And it was scary, but the point that I had no choice but to move forward. Fast forwarding, a lot of my views changed, a lot of my morals changed. And even though people saw the results, the weight loss, my appearance, my everything, my finances, my mental state changed, it still became hard to move forward with my business because so many people saw me who I used to be. I did take in the tip that you guys shared about not worrying about who people used to know you as. But my issue is I'm very introverted. I'll help anyone. I'm always on the encouraging tip, but my blockage is how to get out of that and move forward.
Okay, so we have heard you. Did I have any speakers that wanted to go ahead and take that question? How do we move forward? And I think I see Dawn.
Yes. Miss Zenobia, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a client that has a very comparable story to yours, and he wants to be in the back. And I said, well, who's gonna say your brand better than you? So I would take it back to believing that it's your company starts with you. And it's okay that you can be an integrator, but to be a visionary at the same time, where the face of your company is the only way until you get someone to either financially fill that position or who is your partner who can actually be that person, be the visionary. So you can build that thing, but you need somebody to drive it as well. And the person that's the visionary is the driver of the company, right? So I want to simply tell you, in this journey of developing yourself as an entrepreneur to get yourself more exposed, is simply get out of your own way. Get out of your head. Nobody When you walk into a room with confidence, let me tell you who's gonna smell it. The room. Everybody. And I know some days you don't have that confidence. That's okay. I've been there. I do that. That's not a problem. But on days that you got to show up for your brand, you got to throw that girl out the window that's not giving you that girl and put that girl on, put that face on, put that outfit on. How you doing? My name is such and such. This is my business. This is my brand. This is what I do. What's your name? Oh, really? Let's connect and just have that, and like I say, I know some days it's hard to be that girl, but that girl that's not that girl, you got to throw her out sometimes so you're able to, kind of move in that direction. And I've been there before, so I'm speaking from experience.
And if I could just piggyback off of Dawn, I would say do it when you don't feel like doing it. You got to find that motivation. And as she said, it is hard sometimes to get yourself out of that rut, but you have to know if you continue to stay in this space, nothing is going to change. You're going to remain stagnant. You're not going to achieve the things that you want to accomplish. So you have to be motivated, and you have to be driven, and you got to do it on those days that, you don't have it in you, but you just got to push through. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's my advice to you.
And then I guess Zenobia, you can find comfort in your story. I mean, there's millions of Americans that deal with health issues. So knowing that you're able to find comfort in your story, that will actually pull you out of being an introvert on sharing what it is and promoting your product. Because a lot of people can identify with your story, and if you're out there and you're sharing it, then that will encourage them to want to buy your product. So just find comfort in your story. And I could just attest to that personally, because how the company that I previously managed, how it was built. It was built off a story that people could identify with. And that's what kind of drove us and catapulted us into the next arena.
Thank you, ladies. I really, really appreciate that. I have all my notes, and you guys are going to see me out there soon.
Thank you so much, Zenobia. And just to encourage you a little bit more and honor your bravery to, talk on this panel, share your story with this panel. I am going to reach out to you later on and see if there is anything I can do regarding your business plan that we can look at and see how we can get that business plan going in a direction. Because business plans are everything. It's what helps you obtain financing. It's what helps other people understand your goals and your visions, and it's what you present to your shareholders and things of that nature. So, me personally, I want to work with you on that, because I definitely want you to be successful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I've been praying for.
We're excited. We're excited. We're excited for you. Remember, as Dr. Wisdom said, that's your testimony. Whatever you have to do, that we all have testimony we came from and where we are today. So whatever you've been through, that's your testimony. And I guarantee you there will be somebody that will listen and can relate to where you came from and where you're going. And I just want to congratulate you in advance, sister.
Thank you.
I do have a question actually for the other two panelists. If Bobby Penn is still on the call, she says something that stuck out to me, where she says she's a mediapreneur. And when I introduced myself, I said I'm an emerging entrepreneur. Journalism is my passion, but I consider myself a journalpreneur. And my question for Dr. Winsome and Miss Bobby is, what is y'all advice to me as someone who has a concrete career and wants to emerge into the entrepreneurship route? I have my DBA, I have my logo. I'm in the process of getting my website created. I want to launch an online clothing business and name it after my grandma to honor her. So it's going to be called House of Roger Jean. So what's y'all advice for me to step into that entrepreneurship role?
First of all,
for me, go ahead. No, Bobby Pin, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say congratulations first. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Launching a new business is just like having a baby, so congratulations there. I think you already have several advantages, right? You know how to be persistent, right? You've moved from market to market, from intern to on air, right? Like you know how to grow, so you have that tenacity already. You also know how to tell a story. So I would lean into that in every aspect of this, right? From your brand story and why you're launching it, to even when you post the outfits together, right? What is the story that the outfit tells? You know how to craft a story. And then I will also say, like, market, right? And you got it. You already have the skills. So just dig deep, pull apart what it takes to do what you already do every day and apply it to this new venture, and you're going to soar.
Thank you.
And I was just about to say, Paige, you're already on the right track. Like I talked about when I spoke, just alignment and just the branding. And when she says marketing, I don't know if you could do this, but like when you're on air, when it's time to wear your outfits, girl, put them on. But definitely, because I'm all about too, when you build your business, I help build our business off of free money, not out of my pocket, out of somebody else's pocket. And those opportunities are really out there. So like, I just want to say, if you want to connect, in the future with that, we could put something together so we can get you some grant money so you can go out there and build your website. Like all of that stuff, let me know, girl. I'm on board to help another queen out. But yeah, you're already like on the right track, and just, the Isaiah carries and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, just cross marketing and networking. You're definitely on the right track. So you're good with that.
I will definitely take you up on that offer, honey, because I'm funding this out of my own pocket. So I need
yes, it's good. Because I would say the company that I previously worked for, and just to put that out there, it was the like legal proceedings. So I handed over the company to the partner, which was a 6-figure company, and I walked away because I was like, I can do this over again. But with that, the store, the everything, food truck, all of that free, off of grant money. So like, if you guys ever need me for any type of resource,
I'm calling you too.
Please let me know so we can figure out how to tell the story so they can drop that money in your pocket for free.
For sure. Yes, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. This is amazing. And that goes to show you that even when you get there, you still need to keep going. You still have, I think they say the average millionaire have about 3 or 4 different side hustles. And that was one piece of bad advice that I kept getting from people. They said, Jada, you singing, you in movies, you doing modeling, you doing this, you doing that, you doing that. Why are you doing so much? You need to focus on one thing. Don't let nobody tell you that. Don't let nobody tell you to focus on one thing. If you feel that you have the capacity to do multiple things, then do your multiple things. And also, just to piggyback off of Dr. Winsome, cross-branding, cross-promoting. Don't be afraid to help other people, because as you even see from this event, when you help other people, you get blessed, and you don't know how fast that turnaround is. God works real fast. He works fast. He'll be planning something and you don't even know it. So definitely keep moving forward, and do not ever settle. Always look for more things to do, even after you've conquered that one thing. And I want to pick on, but I'm not picking on you guys. I wanted to ask one more attendee, please come off mute, raise your hand before I pick you, and just share what brought you here today and what you're working on. We definitely want to see if we can help you in any kind of way, because that's the purpose of this event. Not everybody at one time.
Come on, Raquel Jones.
I was gonna say, I was looking at Raquel Jones' name too. I don't know why that name stuck out to me, but
Come on, TSU School of Communications.
Hey guys.
hey.
So I'm here because I wanted to support my my past classmates. I wanted to hear what them girls had to say because I know they're rocking it out there. But I have taken a few things from this conversation that we're having. I'm just gonna keep going. I have a podcast. I've been trying to get back on air, or back into mainstream media, which that's what my degree is in, professional digital media and production, my master's. And I've tried, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna step out on faith and start doing my own thing. So I'm a podcaster right now. I have different guests that come on my show once a week, and I record, and I don't get many as views as I want to, but hey, I just got to keep going. And if I'm welcome back into mainstream media, I'll go there. But the goal is to be an entrepreneur and to make my own money and not have a limit to how much I can make. So that's where I am with that. If I can get into those grants and that grant money that you were talking about, if I can get into that, I will be more than happy to collab with you and help and get your help on that. But other than that, that's what I'm doing. I'm a podcaster, and I love helping people. And my podcast is Talking Real Life. And I love to talk real life with people. And if it's going to help somebody, then I'm going to get deep into it as much as I can. But yeah, that's why I'm here. I was here to support my girls. But hey, I got something for it, and I'm appreciative of it. So thank you, ladies, for all of your information on today.
Raquel, really quick, what realm of mainstream media are you trying to get back into? Like producing on air?
On air, honey. On air. I need this face to be seen, honey. I need it to be seen, and then I can elevate from there, because the goal is to go to Hollywood. I mean, I think that's the goal for everybody, but my goal in particular is to go to Black Hollywood. So if I can get to Atlanta and get on a couple sitcoms, a show or two here and there, that's the goal. But right now I'm starting with podcasts, and then I'll get back into on air. And that's pretty much it.
Well, reach out to me. I know I don't think I have your current phone number, but reach out to me on Instagram after this, and let's have a conversation to see how can I, I'm in news broadcasting, but I do know some other folks. So let's see if I can help you connect the dots to get back to your passion.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I will definitely do that, honey. Thank you for all your support this far.
Did anybody else have any kind of encouraging words?
Well, since I'm not on.
I was gonna also advise her, if you want to be an actress, start doing skits. Use TikTok and do voiceovers and do it. I mean, I hate to oversimplify it, but do it.
Yes, ma'am. It's scary. It's definitely scary. That's why I started with the podcast, because it is definitely scary. But I've learned to get comfortable, and I'm comfortable on camera now. I'm comfortable with talking. I'm comfortable with meeting new people. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to step out there. So when y'all see me in a skit or two, or I'm making myself look crazy, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, honey.
Yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. I'll repost you. Just do it.
I was going to piggyback on what Bobby said. Issa Rae, and then the star of Addicts Middle School. They just did it, and then they got picked up years later. So that's the blueprint I'm talking about. People paved the way for the others to succeed as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that.
And I wanted to drop a quick gem here. So I want to go back to my modeling agency days, which when I was doing those things, a lot of the big companies, when they showed up at events with me and my models, they were like, "Where Jada Stone at?" And I was like, "It's me. I'm here." What made me look that professional is because I went out and got the help that I needed. And I didn't have the money to do so. So what I did was look in my own backyard. I started going, they can't put you out, to the Art Institute. I went up there, sat around, had lunch up there. Students, they would be walking around. I was start a conversation. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're a photographer? Okay, yeah, I got a modeling agency. Do you have some projects coming up that you need help for with class? I can help you. You can help me, you know, and then we can barter like that. Also, just anything, whatever you need, think outside of the box. Where can I go to get those services and products? It's a school for everything. So I would challenge everybody to start looking for those younger talents that are hungry. And that's where you're gonna find the energy and the products needed to fulfill your goal. Whatever you're doing, there's some student out there looking for you. Anybody else would like to unmute themselves and just talk about what it is they have going, whether it's something in personal life that's making you not grow to the next level, or whether you have a vision board that you're working on and you don't really know how to visualize that thing, or what is it, anything. Jasmine, I see you on here. I'm gonna unmute you and just tell us about yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
OMG, Miss Jada, just throw me in. Okay. Well, I'm Jasmine. I met Jada at a company that we worked at together, and she recently helped me get on to a new company, and I definitely appreciate that. What can I say? I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My problem that I have is I'm a huge procrastinator. And I tell my husband all the time, I pray that God takes that away from me, because I hate that. And not even just in the entrepreneurial sense, but just in everyday life, with work, with everything. So that's one of my biggest problems, I would say. And I always, and I what's the word I'm looking for? I don't necessarily have focus, because I tend to jump from thing to thing to thing instead of just honing on to one thing that I want to do and want to move on with. So I'm working on it. Hopefully it gets better. And then once I get that together, hopefully I can do what I want to do as far as being an entrepreneur. So I don't have much to say, but that's just something that I'm going through.
Thank you, Jasmine, for sharing. And so I'll start this off, and then I'll challenge all the other panelists to address it. For me, I think that with procrastination, just starting off small can help you out in a big way. There's this app that I use. I used to be a little skinny thing, and so I wanted to start losing weight. And one thing with the losing weight, it was all about my mindset, how I was thinking in the morning and at night, and what kind of things I was doing constantly every day to make sure that I ate the right things or did this or did that. And so the first step that I took was I took a glass of water, and I said, you know what, this glass of water, I'm going to put it on my bedstand, and I'm going to drink this water every morning, which water helps you, model your weight. So I'm going to drink this water every morning, and I'm going to see if I can continue to do that. And once I get that down pat, then I'm going to move to something different. And so I think that just doing things in steps rather than trying to just jump out there and do it all at once is better. So basically, if you wanted to do anything, start a new business, I would think that, just putting on your calendar every day to, okay, look, let me look and see other businesses that are doing what I'm doing. Maybe start off like that. And then once you get in the mode of doing that 7 days or 14 days, then it drives you to do something different and not procrastinate, as well as coming to things like this, coming to events like this where people have like minds and not that, that crab in the bucket syndrome. When we hang around other people that's not doing something with themselves, we're not motivated to do anything. And that brings on procrastination. But when we get around people that's doing things, that's on TV, that's having their business, that's going places, doing things, then we say, okay, you know what? I see Bobby Penn over there doing something, so I'm gonna watch her Instagram every day and watch her Facebook every day, and I want to be like her. So I'm gonna try to do one or two things that Bobby is doing, and that brings me on to my last thing. Don't be scared to have a role model. Don't be scared to ask for help. Don't a lot of the times this is an old stigma, because I know in 2023 we're not doing this no more. But women used to not want to help each other, or women used to not want to show their vulnerability to each other. We wanted to be like, oh, we better than the next person. I'm not saying that this is something that you have ever done, but I know for me in particular, I had to let down my guard and say, you know what? I'm going to show my vulnerability to other people. I'm going to show them that I don't have it all. Even though if you think I have it all, I don't have it all. There's still things I need help with. And so with that, it helped me, further myself into my goals. Bobby, since I'm talking about you a lot, you have anything for her as far as procrastination goes?
I'm quiet because I also am the queen of procrastination. So thank you. I was like, I'm not qualified to help. I mean, for sure, have grace with yourself always, right? Like nobody's perfect and everybody has a struggle that just happens to be yours. And try to, as best you can, put structures and systems in place to stay on task. But if you slip back, like don't beat yourself up, because I do it.
My boyfriend actually just bought me a book. It's called Do It Today, because he's like, girl, you be procrastinating. We gotta get you together. And it has really been helpful to motivate me. So maybe I can share that book with you after the call, or if you want to connect with me over social. But it has been a help, and it does give certain tips and things of that nature. But again, don't feel alone. A lot of people on this call, whether you're a panelist or trying to get it going, you're accomplished in your own way. Everybody procrastinates, but just don't let it get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish.
And just to piggyback off of the other panelists, I have a book too. I don't know if y'all can see this. Can y'all see this? No. Okay, well, it's called Progress Over Perfection Workbook by Emma Norris. This book right here is a goal-setting book to kind of help you get your thoughts out your head and put them on paper. So you'll read through the book, and then like the next assignment is to actually do a workbook of your goals. The first part of the book is like name 5 people that you love and list 5 reasons why you love them. And then you go on to just identify those people, but then to identify more things about yourself. Progress over perfection. And when I tell you that book is something that every woman needs, it's for women by women, just like this conference. So I highly encourage that you ladies look into getting that workbook. It definitely will help you. Also, one thing, Jasmine, that I want to suggest is anything that you really, really, really want to get into, I highly suggest that you do the research on it. Do the research. Find a mentor in the industry that's going to help guide you to those places that you desire to go. I know working a 9-to-5 isn't ideal for a lot of people, but creating an exit strategy, once you do your research and you start to implement what you really are interested in doing, you want to think about an exit strategy. Hey, is this side hustle making enough money for me to transition into my own business? And as soon as that business starts making you enough money to where you're able to sustain your bills alone, you can go greater from that accomplishment once you get into something that you're looking to transition into.
And then I guess I can add, as far as procrastinating, I just do the old school to-do list and prioritize. But then also I do limit the projects that I take on. And then I also address, well, why am I procrastinating? Is it because I don't like the task that I have to do? Or is it because it's boring or it's too tedious? So if you identify why you're procrastinating, it could be that you're procrastinating because you feel like you just haven't had enough rest, or somebody needs to take you out to dinner. So identify that, get it out the way, and then, use your to-do list and then just go for it and get it done.
Those were amazing tips. And even like I said, throughout this whole process, I have been learning and learning and learning. And I hope that we'll have some more conversations like this in the future. I'm just amazed at what all we were able to accomplish today. So right now, I want everybody to pull out your phones. We're about to have a follow session. And so if you have not followed me yet, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is I'm Jada Stone. So that's IMJADASTONE. And then I will let whoever next go. Let's just all follow each other so that we can make sure we keep up with each other as accountability partners.
My Instagram is THE_PAIGE Hubbard, HUBBARD, my first and last name, _brand. I know it's long, but yeah.
And I typed mine in the chat too, just in case, but mine is You Can Win Some Too. My first name is Jamaican. It's like if you go to Jamaica, Winsome is equivalent to like if somebody's name was Ashley over here. So Winsome can go for both male and female. My dad is Jamaican, so it's You Can Win Some to TOO_. And my page is private. Sorry.
I'm at Bobby Penn, BOBBYPEN.
Thank you guys for sharing that information. And so I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. Is there anybody else on the call today that would like to share anything with us in hopes that we can either offer our expertise or take you on as under our wings as a potential client or okay, well, you have everybody's information here today. Feel free to reach out to them on Instagram or whatever you would like to. I would definitely like to get feedback on this event. I would like to do more events like this. So after this event, you will receive a feedback survey, and please fill that feedback survey out. It's definitely helpful for me and the panelists to understand what you guys heard today and what was important, and how we can help in the future. And so Zenobia, also fill that out. Make sure you drop your information there so that we can get your business plan working, so we can get you over to Dr. Winsome, so we can get you some grants and investments and tag team for you.
Will do.
No problem. So everybody, thank you so much again for attending the Reset and Recalibrate conference. It has been amazing to have everybody in the building, and I look forward to seeing you live your dreams, reset, recalibrate. Go out there and believe in yourself. Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all. Be great.
Thank y'all.